Hola, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being on our program today. Today, I am Armando F. Sanchez, and I'm very, very pleased to have our guest, Hector Gonzalez Rodriguez. And he writes a comic series, El Peso Hero. I came across this when somebody told me about it, and I looked it up, and I thought, wow, this is really to the present, to the moment, to the time. And I was really excited about it. And then when I contacted Hector and started doing research, I realized, man, he's been covered in a lot of places in Texas, but we're going to cover him worldwide also. We're going to add to that. So first of all, Hector, thank you for being on our program.
Sí, gracias. Thanks for having me.
Como no.
No sé.
Hector, before I get into your fabulous comic, tell us, because you're a teacher, and do you sleep at any time doing your artwork, presentations? Of course you do, but I don't think much of it. What inspired you to do this, even in the middle of your busy schedule being a teacher as well?
Well, it's the importance of representation. And of course, you look at, I'm based in Dallas area in Texas, so a majority of the student population in Texas are Latinos, and so there's of course, huge disparities between in education with the lack of role models and Latino teachers in the classroom now, as well as literature, even huge disparity. And so one of my main focuses was make sure that with a Peso Hero that I'm helping bridge that gap in literacy representation.
Yes. When was the moment I guess you said you could see the image in your head that you were inspired at that moment?
Yeah, well, originally, the reality, I've actually got the idea of a Peso Hero summer 2003, and I was, and so I was visiting my grandparents in the border, and so I started writing the story, the general story, by December that 2003, 2004. But I always had that story, kind of saved, for, and I, going through college, working in the private sector. And I decided to follow the footsteps of my father, being a long, Chicano educator here in Texas, 30 plus years now. And it wasn't until my first year teaching that I had a student that had a huge issue. Well, the night before his father was detained by ICE. It was deported, so he lost his dad. So, it's that instance of that I needed to take a broader role, and also, with a level of lack of representation in literature. So all these elements, compounded, especially in seeing and making sure, seeing, trying to be there for my students in the classroom, and basically I need to take a broader role outside, and I felt that I'm able to do that with the Peso Hero. So I launched the Peso Hero July 27, 2011 as a webcomic.
How long does it take you to do a series? Because it's not something you just sit down and draw. I mean, it's very detailed, very beautifully drawn.
No, thank you. And I do have an amazing list of artists. I did the work for Peso Hero issue 1, issue 2. For the sake of demand, I needed to reach out and have help. And so I have an artist. I have had help from artists here in Dallas, Fort Worth, to Chona Studios, great friends, and then I have artist Chema from Mexico, and Guillermo from Argentina. I have the different cover artists as well. um, and Adriel, Kenan White, also from Italy. Vincenzo did an awesome. We did the cool horror story, um, and it's a group effort. Also financially, because I have to pay them. Like the essentials, like this one that has been going viral for the essential workers. I did the interiors, I did the artwork, and Ken and White did the cover. And so all through my art direction, of course, when I have artists, and so I'm the writer creator. At times, I'm the artist doing interiors, like this one, the essentials.
Wow, that's a lot of work. I mean, so obviously you do have an artistic talent as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this circle. But your administrative ability to work with people around the world and put this together is very admirable. At the very bottom, so is El Peso Hero really you?
It's I.
That's a Freudian question in there.
You're right. I like to say that it's all those great mentors, supporters in the community, all in one. It's all the teachers that supported me, all the historical amazing figures that had lifted us up, and it's something, like our community has a lot of grit, a lot of ganas, and we persevere through a lot of, challenges, now, historically, and it's something that I've also paid respects to, like in El Peso Hero La Patrona, starting out with the La Historia de los Niños Héroes, awesome story, that hasn't been covered too much outside of Mexico. The story of the young cadets fighting for their academy, their school, against the American forces during the Mexican-American War. They fought till the very last one, standing. That, and then a story of Pancho Villa there, and that comes from my mother's side. I have family that fought in the Mexican Revolution in the cavalry.
Wow.
And so we have, in my mom's side, we have very strong roots, and my dad's side, historically, we've been here longer than my mom's side in the northwestern, borderlands, hundreds of years.
What's been the impact? I think it's a fantastic series. What has been the impact by the public, by the kids, by the media?
It's been generally very positive. I'm very honored and humble that Latino community, our community, has been very supportive since day one. Because there's never been anything like it. I'm doing this 10 years. A borderland superhero. It's a myth, a legend, and I grew up, like you said, Calimán. My dad was a huge follower of Calimán and Chanoc, and then I grew up being a border kid, having access to those awesome, shows and movies, Mexican movies, the Mexican golden age of cinema, a lot of history.
Huge.
Right.
And it was worldwide.
Yes, it makes such an amazing impact. And there are characters and stories, and so you pay a lot of respects, and then, I watching Cantinflas, and Capolina, and then you look at La Lucha Libre, right?
Great memories.
Right, yeah, and I've been to a Lucha Libre event in Mexico, and so and then
it's a big deal.
Plaza de Toros, right there. La Grasa, and then you have La Abuelita there that goes to every show there.
My wife's abuelita, she was in her 80s from Sonora. Oh my God, she couldn't get enough of the lucha libres. Oh, she'd get into it. Pégale, pégale, that little old lady. I thought, wow, what's all this
Yeah,
about?
and then they get into the crowd, and you have the, La Viejita dándole.
No te dejes, no te dejes. Absolutely. Well, thank you for mentioning about being a border child. I grew up
Yes.
también reading when I was in Mexico. I picked up this comic book series, Marx, and I was just fascinated. I didn't realize I was reading Marxism. And then I went to college and I read it again. I thought, you know what? I picked up a lot from this book. So I live firsthand the impact of being part of the comic book series. What has surprised you about doing this whole process of doing the comics?
I guess it's definitely a labor of love for sequential art. I mean, I love comics. My dad was in the military, and so he would bring Mad Magazine. And
I
so
love Mad Magazine. Yeah.
Mad Magazine, yeah. And so Sergio Dragones, huge impact, amazing storyteller. I had the honor of meeting him, and I had the honor of connecting. He made a connection towards one of the Peso Hero covers, and so very humble, honored. And so it's a labor of love more than anything, And I'm surrounded by comic books and my backlog of books and comics, and so. And it's also a love letter to the sequential art medium. That's universal. That it's definitely a unique way to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, and it's exhilarating. If it's Batman solving a mystery as a detective, very human level. Those are some of the best Batman stories when they're very human. And yeah.
I want to take a second. I'm going to mention some individuals that are part of the community because I've mentioned them as well. And as soon as I finish, I really would like you to give a contact information for our viewers and listeners about where they can get your comic book series to be up to date about what's up and coming. First of all, you reminded me of Javier Hernandez, who also lives here in the area with me.
Oh, yeah, Javi. No, yeah.
I saw a picture with him, but I remember Javier when we met one day. He was telling me that he teaches in the schools. He does seminars teaching kids how to do art and have them begin the process of doing their own comic strip. Now that we're doing so much online, I think this was a great moment to really push that also as well. I also want to go ahead.
Go back to Javier. Javier was one of my mentors. So, I came across El Muerto 2000. I was in college, 2004.
Wow.
And then I reached out to him during the MySpace era, just because I wanted, it kind of, that opened up my eyes, saying, wow, there's a Chicano and an artist in California that's doing amazing things. That has an awesome book called El Muerto. And so I'm like, I'm going to reach out to him. Maybe, maybe he can help me out to develop.
Great guy.
Yeah. And so he's been an amazing mentor, teacher.
That's wonderful. It's a small world. It really is. And you get into it. And first and foremost, I also like to go back to Dr. Frederick Luis Aldama. He's the one that sort of gave me through the whole setting of the idea of the comic book, the collateral impact, cultural impact that it has on the world. And he started orienting me and putting my head together because there was so much of it. And I like to highlight the following also to give them a position that they're also doing their work. Brina Nunez, Jules Rivera, Lilia Quintero Weaver, Lea Ann Newton, Fernando Rodriguez, Lalo Alcaraz, El Pocho.
Oh, all trailblazers.
All of you guys. And I know Lalo, him and a group also started into the movie industry. So I'm wondering whether in the future we might see a comic strip from your
Peso Hero, well, you never know, and it's nunca sabes, and it's it is very unique story, borderland superhero, and we've had some conversations in the past, like off and on. No, in serio. And so like Mexico, but it's all in time, I guess.
I'm laughing because you created an idea in me, and I'll share it with you in a few seconds. Yeah. But first of all, let's, as we promised, please, your contact information.
Yeah, you can reach me out through Rio Bravo Comics at Gmail. You can also go to riobravocomics.com to check out any of the digital books. You might want to give me a week or two from now so I can replenish a little bit. But you can also go through social media, all that Instagram, Facebook, just search at Peso Hero, Twitter, everything helps to stay on the latest interviews, with Armando here.
Absolutely. We're going to post this so it's available. The idea you triggered in me, I think it was partially living in Tijuana in my life, was I could see a luchador called El Peso Hero. That's what triggered in my head. I thought, that's your idea, not mine. Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I just thought, I can see a luchador in Mexico with
right. No, but you bring a good point, and it's, and people ask me why Ignacio is the El Peso Hero's name. Well, because he's, in El lado mexicano, on the Mexican side, they call him El Toro Pesado, the myth, the legend, Toro, un mito, and in the American side, they call him El Peso Hero, Spanglish,
Oh, okay.
Right.
You got that part of me. You asked. I understood now. So, one final question, because we're running out of time, and I've got 10,000 questions, and I can't think of them all at the same time. Will we see a female supporting also El Héroe?
Oh, there are. Yeah, in the story there are. And so. Laura, la reportera, she's a blogger, Laura, and she's been playing in one of the main roles in Peso Hero, just because I believe, freedom of speech is very important, and then especially in Mexico, a lot of reporteros, journalists risking their lives day to day.
Yes.
And right, and I mean, it's sad to say, but even in our country, as we saw within, the social protesters, the advocates, and the journalists, but there were about 230 something journalists being harmed through these protests. So, yes, it's one of, yeah. Entonces, they're definitely. Go ahead.
No, we're going to give out your contact information one more time, and then we're going to close the show with your closing statements. Again, we can go for hours. There's so much material here, but I'm glad you're doing your work. I want to say it up front. I'm just very honored to know you. I hope everyone gets to enjoy El Peso, your hero, the comic series, and I hope it goes beyond that, because I think it's a message that resounds worldwide from my perspective as well. Again, your contact information, por favor.
Yeah, you can reach me out through riobravocomics.com. Find me in social media through El Peso Hero.
Okay. Your closing statements before we, end the show, and we're going to have to do more of them in the future about you.
No, well, thank you so much for supporting the continuing adventures of Ignacio, El Peso Hero, Toro Pesado. Next year will be 10 years of El Peso Hero, and so we'll be finishing our story arc. Really excited about that. It's the thrilling conclusion of this story, and it'll be called El Peso Hero Sicario War. So stay tuned. Check it out.
When is it going to come out?
Say next year, summer 2021. Yeah, next year.
Okay, I'm going to start saving my pennies so I can buy one. Okay, put me down.
Yeah.
Put me down. Yeah. I know that. Okay, thank you very much. We've been talking to Hector Gonzalez Rodriguez, who has done this wonderful comic series. Please look it up, learn about it, follow it, buy it, support it, not only his, but also the others as well that are all combining and bringing literacy. This is at the bottom of the line. It's a political message. It's literacy. It's high interest for high-risk readers and others like me who love Comics. So all of us, we transfer from Mad Magazine over to El Peso Hero. Thank you, Hector, for being on our program. I'm Armando F. Sanchez. If anyone has any questions, you can contact me at afsanchez66@gmail.com. Please feel free to contact him directly, follow his works, and wherever there are Latinos or non-Latinos around the world that love to follow the storylines, please, you'll never be disappointed by following his series. Thank you very much, Hector.
Thank you. Gracias.